We're not talking about the educational system in Canada. How expensive it is on Canadian citizens to have an education. Under the Referendum Party of Canada, it's going to change. Under the Referendum Party of Canada, we're going to base their education more on the European system and not the system they have right now in place. The system they have in place is very low education. It's very low education. The way they treat the teenagers who are heading into universities and colleges and to CEGEPs is pretty lame. The way we treat children in school too as well is pretty lame. It's a back-ass educational system. What we're going to do is we're going to base the educational system on the European system, where the kids are going to be extensively well trained in education. They're going to receive not just the basics of education, but they're also going to learn about what it's like to own the resources in Canada and what resources are. And it's going to happen in high school. And before high school, they're going to learn the histories. They're going to learn the histories of Canada, the histories of Europe, the histories of the world. Because Canada is multicultural. So what we're going to do is we're going to adapt to a universal educational system. Something similar to what Timbuktu was, a place of education. I want the students go into medicine to receive the best of the world knowledge. I don't want them to be retarded through a Canadian-based medical system. People go into engineering is going to be the same thing. I want them to receive world education on the basics of engineering. I want basically to break out of the old-fashioned colonization education. A lot of people are paying top dollar for education, and they shouldn't be. In the European system, a lot of your tax money is placed back into education. The reason for it is because the more educated people are, the more educated they are in business, the more educated they are in many fields, the better it is for a nation to grow, the more prosperous a nation becomes. Education is the road to prosperity. And if you educate children the way they are now, it doesn't lead to prosperity. If you don't modernize your education, my father was a teacher. He continuously went to Concordia and McGill University to upgrade himself. If you don't upgrade your educational system, if you don't upgrade the pay of the teachers, the benefits of the teachers, then you've got a problem, and we do have a problem. And so to resolve the problem, in the Referendum Party of Canada, we're going to do an overhaul, complete overhaul of the educational system. The fees, the phenomenal fees that are paid into it, that's going to change too as well. And that's what the resources are all about. That's what the benefits of owning the resources as a nation is all about, is that you utilize some of those benefits so that you can upgrade your system. Under the Referendum Party of Canada, I'll have no choice but to do exactly that. It won't take long. Now, my father is very intelligent when he spoke to me of it. My father's words were, it doesn't take long to study international technique and to adapt to it. And he's right. It doesn't take long for the Ministry of Education to adapt to a whole bunch of international teachings. We live in a modern world. Better to keep up with the modern world than just fall behind in the modern world. And it's the same with housing. If we don't stick to a European system like a Norwegian system where the citizens own the house and the kids, the children, they're given money when they're born, and it's allowed to be banked and banked and banked and banked, so that when they reach a particular age, they also receive a place to live. These things like education has to. It sounds like a radical change. In the end, it's not. It's just change. It's like changing the clothes you wear. You just got to be willing to do the change. Under the Referendum Party of Canada, I don't benefit from the change. You all do. And I, as a citizen, then benefit as you do. I want to do this on minimum wage. I want to be elected under these principles that I won't earn more than the common working Canadian. My pension will be the same as youth. I'll have to make the best of it or I'll have to raise everything and lower the cost of living and lower the cost of education. So I guess that's what I'm going to end up doing, because I'm not a millionaire. And so I'm going to have to adapt. And that's what you do when you adapt. You're willing to take cut. I'm willing to take wage cut. I'm willing to take pension cut, because in the end, taxpayers are paying the wage, taxpayers are paying the pension, and I'm only going into office to make these radical changes to better the lives of all Canadians, including the children of Canadians who seek a better education but can't afford one. It's how you balance a system. You don't make it affordable only for the wealthy. You want to balance it. And the government's not doing that, because they're shaking and greasing the hands of the wealthy. Wealthy who run corporations, they write off a lunch. Wealthy who run corporations get a whole bunch of tax breaks. Who pays for all this stuff in the end? Who pays for their travels? Oh, I went to Europe, and oh yes, I got business cards saying I went for business. But in the end, we all know it wasn't a business call. It was just a person traveling under the expense to the Canadian taxpayer. That's going to change too, as well, as we're going to have chats later on there about changes made to corporations running in Canada or off the Canadian identity. That's going to change. Also, the usage of Canada. A lot of companies will be told to remove the title of Canada under them, because they are not there for the Canadian people. And so they shouldn't have the word Canada underneath their business logo. And a lot of people migrating here also complain that they're forbidden from getting common shitty jobs that nobody else wants, because they only have a right to be here as a student. Under Referendum Party of Canada, they'll be allowed to have minor jobs, they'll be allowed to see if they want to settle in. That's why we were talking about housing earlier. Housing is really, really important. It's not only part of the cost of living, not only part of the cost of education, but when you put everything in a factor, who can afford education? Not many people. And then who can afford housing? Even few. So Referendum Party Canada wants to change that, so it's fair for everyone, so everyone's given a fair chance. Children are invested into, so when they reach the age of 21, they're given a fair chance. Corporations and CEOs working for the Canadian government, making $2 million, $4 million, $6 million a year, I recommend you get different jobs. You won't be working for me under the Referendum Party of Canada logo. You won't be working for the Canadian citizens, because your type are very well replaceable. Don't want to pay to see you sit on a yacht drinking champagne and making it look like you've done everything for the citizens of Canada, when all you've done is filled your pockets. Look forward to running for office as Prime Minister. Look forward to making adequate change so that common Canadians and Americans traveling here can benefit from it. People migrating here from Asia, from China, who don't even understand much English, can at least have a home to live in. Government's an ass. Yeah, migrate to Canada, a pot of gold. I tell you something. You're going to have high rent. You're going to have high groceries. You're going to have very expensive TV, very expensive phone. You're going to have very expensive hydro. And you're going to have a pot of misery. Hope you enjoy it.